Hey guys, it's London. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is London Sagree and I do beauty, business, and lifestyle videos here on YouTube. And today I'm going to be showing you all how I get my everyday makeup look. Very simple and very easy for beginners, and I really don't even use that many products. So let's get into it. So first I'm taking my Style Factor Edge Booster Edge Control with the spoolie, and I'm just sleeking my eyebrow hairs upwards so that they can stay in place until I'm ready to do my eyebrows, because I usually don't do my eyebrows before I do my makeup. Sometimes I do, but usually when I'm doing my everyday makeup I don't, just so I can give it a more natural look. So I'm just taking my edge control with the spoolie, just giving it a nice shape that I like. I like to make sure all the hairs are going pretty much upwards, but still following a nice shape. And I'm just using my finger to like press it in afterwards. And I really like to take the edge control and do this because the brows do not move, so it's very effective. And this is super inexpensive rather than buying a brow freeze or some type of brow gel. So I like to do this instead of doing that. So here I am taking my Milk Makeup Hydra Grip Primer, and I'm just smoothing it into my skin. I love to use this to help my makeup stay in place all day and all night. And I just get that on all around my face, on my eyebrows, and my T-zone, everywhere. And y'all, please excuse my nails. I've been working with these press-ons, and if you know, you know, like... So now I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter Foundation in the color 6.5 Deep. And I'm just going to take the applicator brush that it comes with and just swipe that over the places I feel like I want more coverage, just because this foundation is actually pretty sheer. So I'm going to be looking into some new foundation soon, but I use what I have until it's gone. So that's why I've been using it. So because this foundation is a bit more sheer, I'm going to go in with this Laura Mercier translucent powder in the shade Honey. And I'm just going to use it to make my foundation a bit more full coverage. And I'm also going to take my Real Techniques 200 brush, and I'm going to spray it with this Milk Makeup Hydra Grip Set and Refresh Spray. And I'm just going to pounce all of the product into my skin. And here I am just making sure I get the product by my ear, on my jawline, and also on my neck, because we don't want to be out here looking like we have a mask on. So I just like to make sure that I blend it in all of those places specifically, so we can be blended, girl. We need to be blended. And I'm also just taking a little bit more of that foundation, just building it up and not sweeping the product on my face, but pouncing the product into my skin. And as you can see, pouncing this into my skin is a full-time job. But yeah, I'm just making sure it's blended out by my edges and my hairline. And smiling in the camera. And if you see me going over here, I'm just looking into my big mirror. So now that we're finished with the foundation, we're going to move on to concealer. And I'm going in with this Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Concealer in the shade 380. And I just like to place the concealer along the side of my nose and then underneath my eye, going upwards. I just like to place a pretty good amount so that I can blend it and it'll be a pretty good coverage, but I don't like to OD on the concealer, especially for my everyday look. If it was a super glam look, I definitely would. And I would also probably go in with the concealer shade 360 if I wanted a brighter under eye. And y'all, I don't know why I made that face. Like, I probably thought I had put a little bit too much going down, but it looked fine. It turned out fine in the end. I don't know why I made that face. But yeah, I just do that to the other side, and there we have it. I really don't place concealer anywhere else on my face except for beneath my nose. And then I just go in with this Makeover Essentials concealer brush. I kind of like to tap the outer portion of my concealer before I tap in the inner portion, if you get what I'm saying. I'm trying to adjust the light. I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to get the perfect light for y'all. But I like to blend out the outer portion just to give a nice silhouette before I go in and give my under eye the coverage that it needs. And then I go in and just tap out the rest of the concealer. I take it up my nose and then I just tap it under my eye. I don't sweep, I tap it into my skin. And I love to take this Makeover Essentials concealer brush because it just fits perfectly underneath my eye. So I never take any other brush under there or even a beauty blender because this is just the perfect brush. And I don't bring my concealer all the way out to the edges of my face. I kind of just take it to where my face needs it. And yeah, it'll be different for everybody. So just figure out what works for you. And this works for me. So. And I always like to tap out one eye and then place the setting powder just so I don't get creases because I actually hate to get creases under my eye. So I take my beauty blender, and if I don't go in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder in honey, I go in with the original one. And I believe I went in with the original one and I just put it underneath my eye. I don't bake. I just kind of press the product into my skin because I usually like to build up the product. So I don't like to take much. But even here, I could have used less, but it all turned out pretty good. And then I just go ahead and do the same thing to my other eye. I tap out the outer portion to give my eye a nice silhouette, and then I go into the inner portion and tap that out. I like to take my foundation brush and just blend out the edges of the concealer and give it a natural and seamless look so we don't have any harsh lines or anything like that. So now I'm just taking the excess concealer that is on the brush and I'm just tapping it onto my chin and underneath my nose, and I'm going to eventually put it on my forehead as well. And y'all know how I said I like to build up on the powder, so that's what I'm doing now, and I'm just blending out any creases that might have came through and just building up on that powder. And y'all can literally see I do not add a lot of concealer underneath my nose, and I don't add any to my forehead or my chin. I just use the excess from the brush. And I'm just tapping out the concealer underneath my nose. And I love how I have a pretty good amount to still tap on my forehead and give it a nice little subtle highlight, because I do not like to draw a lot of attention to my forehead. So I don't OD on the concealer, but I do a little something something. And after that, I'll set with the Laura Mercier translucent powder in Honey. And if you couldn't already tell, I don't take the concealer up my nose. I like to just take powder up my nose because I really don't like to OD with the concealer like at all. So now I'm moving on to brows, and I'm gonna go in with the Sneaker K eyebrow pencil in the color Cocoa. It's honestly not the right color. It seems like every time I go to the beauty supply to get an eyebrow pencil, I never ever get the right color. I need to stick with my Anastasia Beverly Hills, but I'm just gonna work with what I have. So for my brows, I like to start at the tail, and then I will line it up to the front end of my brow. And then I will add these 3 or 4 hair strokes. I'll just add a few hair strokes at the front of my brow. And then I will do the top portion of the tail, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you just watch what I'm doing, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. And this is when I realized that brow pencil was not my color, and then my Anastasia Beverly Hills pencil was done. Like, it was literally to the end. So I just had to make it do what it do, and I just made it work pretty much. And after I create that nice shape for my brow, I like to just brush out the product and make it not so harsh, and then I'll go ahead and do the other brow. So essentially what I do is I underline my brow, and then I like to add 3 or 4 hair strokes in the front, and then I'll go ahead and do the top. But I never do the entire top. I just like to do the end so it connects with the tail. And I also like to make my tail pretty sharp. Moving on to bronzer, I like to go in with this Black Radiance True Complexion contour palette in medium to dark. It's the perfect colorway for me, and I really don't like to contour, so I like to take the 2 darkest shades, not the shimmer. I like to take the contour in the sculpt shade, and I just like to bronze up my face, like my cheekbones and my forehead and my jawline a little bit, not too much. And if I happen to misstep or overdo it with the bronzer, I like to just go ahead and take my concealer brush or even my foundation brush and just blend it out a little bit, just to show you all what I actually do in real life. I like to just fix up my mistakes with the foundation brush. And to set the rest of my face and just kind of give it a skin-like finish, I like to go in with the fluffy brush and then the Sculpt color. Even though it's barely there on my palette, I like to go in with that shade and just buff it around my whole entire face where I really didn't put bronzer and where there isn't any concealer. Now I'm just using that Sculpt powder to blend out some setting powder that I placed under my bronzer. So we're going back into brows. I'm going to be using that same Fenty Beauty 380 concealer, and I'm going to be using this Morphe M213 brush. And I only like to place concealer at the tip of the brush. And I'll start with the bottom portion of my tail and I will just underline my brow. Excuse the faces I make while I do this. I really be trying to focus. And I usually don't take it on top of my brow at all, but this time I did take it a little bit just to clean it up even more. It's really crazy, y'all, because it took me so long to figure out how I liked my brows, how I wanted them to look, because I already don't have like a particular brow shape, but I really like this. So after that, I'll go ahead and take that same brush and blend that concealer downwards. So now I'm moving on to bronze up my eyelid and contour my nose. And I'm taking those two same shades from the Black Radiance palette and I am just buffing it on my eyelid and then bringing it along the sides of my nose and then just contouring. As you can see, I really don't like to do too much. I'm just trying to fake it till I make it. And I just take those shades and go up and down my nose. And I also like to focus kind of right by my eyes, right beneath my eyebrows, and just give it a nice shape. Here I just added a little bit more of the Laura Mercier powder on my nose just to define it a bit more. Okay, so now I'm taking this Morphe M139 brush to dust off the powder that was on my nose. I actually love this brush. And usually I don't do too much eyeshadow, but I think I was just trying to show out for y'all. So I just took this random brush with those two same shades from that palette, and I just buffed it along my eyelid a little bit just to create a little something something. So then I went in with the highlight shade from this palette, and I just put a little bit on the bridge of my nose and on the tip of my nose. Boop, boop, that's it. And I did put a little bit on my cheekbones, but I went in with the Sculpt shade and I just buffed it out a little bit just to give it a natural finish. And I did the same for my nose. So to line my lips, I just went in with this Nicka K pencil. And to set my face, I went in with the Milk Makeup Hydra Grip Set and Refresh Spray, a few times to be exact. And I told y'all, I knew I was trying to be extra for y'all. I took this angled liner brush in the contour shade and I just lined underneath my eyes. So next, I took this Maybelline Lash Sensational Luscious Mascara. Love this mascara. I went in with that and it really brought my lashes to life because I decided not to do falsies and I don't have any extensions on right now. Somebody rushing me. I'm just gonna tell y'all what I put on my lips. I used this Dior lip gloss, and the color is 640. And then actually I didn't. Usually I top it off with this cocoa butter lip gloss, but I just kind of left the Dior how it was, and that's the look. Thank you all so much for tuning into my everyday makeup look. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.